Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Counter, presented by Kaistring. I'm your host, Vicente Yañez. This is the podcast where we take you behind the scenes of retail technology to talk about all the trends, insights, the hot topics from the people who live and breathe it every day. Today with me, we have Jason Cole, Head of Retail Strategy with Tote.ai. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing great. As you can see, I have my sneakers on for the final
Love
day
it.
of NRF. Feeling good. Had a fantastic show. A lot of good conversations.
When I first got invited to come to NRF this year, that was one of the first things they told me, wear comfortable shoes.
The rule is nobody cares what shoes you're wearing.
Nope.
They don't look at them. Everybody understands.
Because everybody, I think that's one of the major call-outs this year. I don't know, previous years, this is the first time I'm here, about having places where to rest, to sit.
Yeah, you need to be able to eat on your lap or eat standing or eat at the booth. So there's never any seats available.
Jason, so you were here with us during the casting booth, talking to a bunch of people. What is the one topic that you keep hearing, everyone? Was there one, actually? Was there one thing that everyone kept asking about or interested in?
Yeah, so I mean, it was all over the place. You know, everybody's looking for a little bit of different things,
Yeah.
but really so many cool new technologies have entered the convenience and retail industry specifically. How do we unify them together, right? There's always integrations, there's always data management, there's always translations, but how do we truly unify
Right.
that customer experience and unify that for them?
And that's a very interesting experience because you're using the word unify instead of integrate or interconnect, meaning that we need to think of these either data points or customer experiences as one thing that can exist in many different form factors or many formats.
Yeah.
And I know that thinking of data, for example, which has been one of the bigger conversation topics that I have had here, a lot of people think of their data first, right? They're starting to understand the value of having structured data when it comes to things like AI, which is
Exactly.
I think one of the hot topics this year.
Yeah, and one of our philosophies is that it's very difficult to fix the data downstream,
Agree.
right? The translation, all that, and we really feel like it needs to be fixed at the source, and you need to have clean data coming out, or it just creates these little projects and different frustration points down the road.
Yeah, I want to tell you this crazy story. We had in a different consulting company, different place that I was at the time. There was the need to create an integration layer, right? A transformation. System A, System B, we need a translation layer. It was supposed to be temporary because the goal was never to stay on System A. The problem is that the transition between System A and B took so long that interface started growing and growing and growing, and then they threw people at it, became a product on its own for something that was completely not intended to be done, right?
Yeah.
So they created a whole new, I'm not gonna say tumor, but something like that in the systems ecosystem of that sounds redundant, on the landscape of the company, something that grew for years.
Yeah, and that's what I found in my experience too. You know, so often marketers, operators, they come up with the requirements, they come up with everything that's needed, and then it takes so long to implement.
Yeah.
They either forget things or it's not quite how they wanted it, and then by the time you get to the end of that, like you said, it's just another thing to manage, it's
Right.
another thing on top of it, where if you can do those things quickly with modern architecture, your time to value is a lot quicker, and you keep marketing and ops happy.
If you had a magic wand and you could like change something in that process for transitioning, even from legacy to a system like that with a modern architecture, what would be the thing that you would like to immediately change? I mean, obviously we want the systems to just shut down my legacy system today and wake up tomorrow with something cool. But what would be that one thing that you would remove from the pains of the process?
Yeah, so I'll be a little biased here. So when I started, or in the middle of my career, I actually worked for Royal Farms as a category manager.
Okay.
So when I have conversations with retailers and we're talking, right, when you're talking about technology, you're most often with IT, right, and with those guys and how they manage. But if I had a magic wand, I would love to be able to have marketing and operations get their ideas to the field faster before that light goes out in their eyes. The amount of time it takes for marketing to say, hey, we have a great idea, to go through requirements, statement of work, all of the evaluation, everything, they've moved on to something else.
Right.
So even if it's deploying it and failing fast, failing fast is very valuable because you know what doesn't work, you know what you need to pivot, you can try the next thing.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a 12-month integration cycle or connecting that. So I would love my magic wand, my magic wish is to make marketing and operations executives be able to react much quicker in
That's
the
a
environment.
fantastic viewpoint for the right reasons. I think that in order to be successful on that, we need to have proper guardrails around that environment, that ability to test something out in production. So that means that you have to have a stronger development life cycle, a stronger platform that is highly resilient.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter what happens in one specific register, you're not going to bring the store down, you're not going to bring the chain down. Like if I have an experiment that I want to run, and I'm going to throw my favorite experiment in that I bring in. If I want to test my new teleporter functionality, tomorrow someone comes with this idea, instead of the ship to store, the ship to home, it's going to be through teleporter. Like I want to try it out, I want to test it how it is. How long it will take me to integrate this technology safely, right? Modern architecture definitely plays a part, but I think also cultural change management. I mean, there is a part of it in which the company needs to be ready to operate in those terms.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I can say this because I used to be a category manager marketer. Come up with some crazy ideas, right? You don't want them to be able to just go do anything, but the ability to give them the freedom to A/B test.
Yeah.
Which ones did customers like more, and not have to have this big articulate thing, right, where it capture data manually or ask the stores, hey, stores, which one did they like better, right? Having the loyalty login just a little bit different on one screen versus the other. How long was the transaction time? Those types of things are really valuable to a marketer, where you're speeding up the transaction but not reducing any value.
Right.
Because you have to capture that loyalty, that payment, and everything in between.
Right. And normally IT has the reputation of being the no people, right?
Exactly.
Whenever you guys, the business idea come in, like, I saw this thing really cool. And to be perfectly fair, what you're describing is like, I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Exactly.
Right? So whenever you come in, like, I need to do this thing, I want to try it out, and IT or application development is like, no, that's not going to be possible. To me, that the only thing that that's telling me is that your platform is either you do not know your platform, or your platform is not ready to make that kind of stuff. That's what I feel it.
Exactly, and a lot of time, to be frank, it's not IT's fault, right? They've tried to figure it out, and hey, we just know that that's not possible. And also, we don't want to tie up those critical IT resources trying something that they know may fail. Right, or may not just bring the results that they think they wanted. So IT's like, well, if we're not sure, if we haven't done an ROI, right, we can't spend time on that.
Right.
So giving marketing and operations that ability to almost try it on their own with minimal help, try those things in a lab and even production, where you don't bring down the whole system, right? You don't bring down the entire chain. You can try it in one location, one terminal even.
Yeah.
That's the type of microscope that we need to start having in these stores.
And I want to ask a question, pivoting from here, specifically to you guys, to Tote.ai and to you, because I have you here, right? I'm the rest of the team here. But for example, the question is, what is one piece of technology that you think is hype versus something that actually could be a game changer? And I'm asking Tote.ai because you guys are an AI platform built from the ground up, an AI native 100%.
Yeah.
So your perspective of AI, and I'm biased the response, I'm sorry, or I'm leading the response. Your perspective of AI is very different than someone that is looking out in, right?
Exactly.
So is there anything else besides AI, or some aspect of AI that is hype versus game changer?
Yeah, and I can answer that. So, for example, here at NRF, you see AI everywhere, right? How do you differentiate yourself, right? We have AI at the end of Tote.ai, right?
Yeah.
How do you differentiate yourself from some of those that simply bolted onto the side, or they have an agent and they call themselves AI, right? And we philosophically feel like it has to be at the ground floor.
Right.
If you have a legacy architecture, legacy stack, you're simply bolting onto the side of it.
Right.
So with us, our AI understands the code. It's been there from day one, and it's integrated seamlessly throughout the entire environment, top to bottom. And we feel like making sure that retailers understand that, yes, of course, we have a joke, hey, we have AI, right? But show you, right? If somebody says they have AI, show you. Right?
Yeah.
And have them show it to you from the ground level.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge that, of course, we have, but we're educating our customers and retailers that come by, and we're showing them the value of AI. We don't just have it on our backdrop.
And along that journey of working with potential clients, with customers, with new people that are coming to your product, what is one misconception that you hear all the time?
About our product, so...
Or not necessarily about the product, sometimes about, in general, point of sale providers. Because you're coming to a space where there has been so many other players through decades. And a lot of them, are carrying a really long tail of successes and failures over decades. So it may not necessarily be about Tote.
Sure.
Maybe some reserves about bigger players.
Yeah. So all the platforms that are out there today, right, they're strong, right? They've chugged along for many years, right? And being a new player in this space, right, of course, establishing that, hey, we're here and we're here to play and we're here to stay. The issue is, in convenience, there hasn't been too much innovation, right? There's been some architecture differences and that. So, when they first approach us, it may just seem like we're just one of the bunch. We do the same things, right? But when we really dive into the secret sauce and some of those components that maybe QSR has, maybe, a big mass retailer has, right? And bringing that to convenience, that's what really sets us apart, because these convenience retailers are not, they don't like being referred to as convenience stores, right? They are fast casual.
Sure.
They are QSRs, and they operate actually 4 different business units as one, right? And in each of those individual business units, there's been tremendous innovation, but it hasn't trickled over to convenience because of the systems that they have. So that's where we're leading them and showing them how we're bringing different aspects in technology that are available in different retail, even your coffee shop, right? Just different things, the touchscreen, the customer-facing display, and how you interact. We're bringing that to convenience retail, where we feel like that sets us apart from the competition.
And I like the idea of fast casual as a name, because in the end, this transformation of I'm going to use what I think is a colloquial term, the gas station, because in the end, that's what I think of it first, right? My first thought is not yet, and it's transforming, not yet going to the convenience store for anything else, but the convenience store happens because I'm already at the pump getting fuel, and the fork or back or whatever it is, right? Going to the gas station has always, not always, but it has been represented a lot as just that, the little store where you get stuff while you get your fuel.
Exactly.
And now I think that a lot of the brands that have been around for so long have established a name in their community by other things like food. You bring QSR, you bring these differentiators based on an offering that has nothing to do with fuel. So now they're trying to establish themselves in the community as a staples, like as anything else but fuel, right? Like, I want you to be the destination for my chicken sandwich. I want you to be the destination for my pizza. I want you to try my hoagie, etc., etc., etc. So I think allowing the executive leadership or the leaders of these companies to think of their business in this different light and have the platform that can give them tools, technology, and avenues to explore that is invaluable.
Exactly, yeah. We have to give them the tools to compete against the McDonald's, against the Chick-fil-A's, against the QSRs. And it's actually funny. I'm from southern Pennsylvania, and we actually go to a Royal Farms to get dinner, and we just happen to get gas while we're there. So that dynamic is absolutely changing, right? I mean, I'm in the Mid-Atlantic, and the food competition there is immense. I feel like it's very different than other parts of the country. And it's very unique. Everybody's known for their own things, right? Wawa, hoagies, Royal Farms, best fried chicken. Yes. So, we go there to eat. Yeah. And, while we're here, we'll get some gas. So it's definitely being flipped on its head. And there's some really great operators out there that are doing that today.
So let me ask you something about the changes on customer habits, on culture changes. Because we've seen it that malls, for example, are coming around, right? Like the younger generation are starting to gather again in malls. Well, obviously, we cannot predict with a high degree of accuracy what's going to happen, right? But do you see a strong indication that the people are following on that trend of trying out these restaurants, these places by other things but the fuel?
Yeah, and it needs to be as frictionless as possible, right? And you said something there about the destination, and the newer generations are changing the way they shop. And what you said there, we don't know the next channel. And that's where us in particular, we don't know what the next channel is going to be. But if you built the architecture and the environment in such a way that you can adapt to any future channel, that you can help be that platform of the future. And within that, like I've been going to NACS for 15 years. I may not look like it, but I've been going for a long time. And everybody says, hey.
You started going when you were 7?
Pretty much. The holy grail is getting somebody that's already on your lot. There's a study, I can't, it's like 49 or 59% of customers fuel up and leave your lot without ever purchasing anything. Yes. And then there's another study I think it's a NAC study. It says 29% of consumers fuel up, leave, and get food within 30 minutes of leaving your establishment, right?
Interesting.
So you have food inside. It's a short walk,
Sure.
right? You're right there. It has everything you could want, right? Drink and food. But they're leaving to go to a burger joint or something else, right?
Interesting.
So removing that fiction and unifying the customer journey from the pump in store, right? Like Vicente, you say, hey, I'm approaching the store in 1 mile. Maybe you're talking to an agent of some sort. And hey, here's what I want to do. Here's my favorite food. And that food's already being prepared when you pull on the lot and start the transaction, right? Then maybe it's brought out to you.
Or you're getting your
or maybe they ping you on your app and they say, hey, your order's ready when you come in. So when you're done, you don't have to go in and touch the screen and order, then wait, right? You're kind of doing everything at once. And think about all the busy people, right, that travel and have to stop and fuel, and then they're going to leave your store and then stop at a QSR down the road, right? How do we make it so frictionless that they can do it all there without spending any extra time at their favorite store? And that's where we think the value is.
One of my favorite use cases, and I want to go here from a couple of places, but one of my favorite use cases of convenience on the road. If I'm a traveling family, because we're going on vacation and we're taking the road trip, and I have the kids in the back seat, you know, they get impatient, they get restless.
I have 3 daughters, all under 10, 8, and 5. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
You know, whenever you're on the road, you still have 4 hours ahead of you driving. You want to stop at a gas station, but you may not necessarily want to get them out because I don't want to disrupt them. I want them to
or wake them up if they're sleeping.
Yeah, but man, I'm hungry. Man, I want something. I want to just pick up something on the go. That use case that you described is just perfect for that scenario, you know?
Yeah.
And talking about these ideas of what is possible and just ideating, right? Like, what if you're like in the map, you already have the GPS going on. The GPS can tell you, hey, you're a loyalty rewards member of all of these places along the road. If you order now, by the time you get there, it's going to be ready. Hey, would you like to order your favorite sandwich that we know you want? Well, the word convenience takes a different meaning, a different dimension.
Exactly. And like I said, I have 3 daughters. I'm a girl dad at heart through and through. Each of them are picky eaters too, and they like something different. So when I'm done fueling, I walk inside, and then I have to remember everybody's order, text my wife. Oh, so-and-so doesn't like ham sandwiches today. Okay, great. You know, but
today, I love that because that's what it is.
They change based on their mood. So if we had the ability to say, hey, I got 5 people in the car. I know what they like. This one doesn't like cheese. This one doesn't like tomatoes. And I can have that and just push it in and not have to worry about it walking inside. That would save me a tremendous amount of time, and that's a personal use case.
I think that's the value of using not just modern architecture, but I think the value of what AI could potentially bring into the fold, right? Having platforms that are able to come up with these imaginative ways in which we can change the customer experience of buying things. You mentioned friction a lot. What do you think is the biggest point of friction?
Well, today it's again everything's a one-to-one integration. Everything operates differently from retailer to retailer. So you have the outside integrators, the systems you're integrating to, they're all different, and it's very difficult to manage, right? Can they really scale and innovate their product when they're working on all these different integrations, right, that are across the site with the legacy architecture that we have today? And again, it goes back to fixing data at the source, right? Making sure you have clean data, making sure anybody that you are integrated to, that's running your loyalty, that's running this, everything works in harmony, and you're able to take advantage of the systems that you are integrated to, right? The full breadth of their system. And not just, oh, we can only do this because of that, or hey, you can only do these functions because you're that, because you're sold those in the sales process, right? Then you get down to the point of sale and it's, oh, well, it can't do that. Right? So it's not only making your system rich and frictionless and unifying the data, it's also making third-party systems richer so that you can unify that journey all the way through, and the customer never hits that friction point where something doesn't work or it doesn't work as designed or as promised.
Which in general, that's kind of the promise of what we do between providers like you guys and what we bring to the table is trying to fix that, all of that for the customer, right? To keep that illusion that it's only one single thing happening, when in reality it's just myriad of systems connecting and working together in harmony, or hopefully in harmony, to achieve something.
Yeah, and it all sounds good in the sales process, right? It sounds good until you hit the road and marketing's like, well, this doesn't work how the PowerPoint said, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Making sure that you're getting the full value out of not just even a Tote.ai,
Yeah.
all of the solutions that
Yes.
you're using across the
Yeah,
estate.
whoever is your loyalty provider, your payment provider,
Exactly.
your ERP systems, whatever
Exactly.
it is. I love that perspective. So let me ask you something. What is the problem you think we are actually close to solve in retail technology or specific in convenience store technology that we are like maybe within 3 to 5 years ready to address?
That's a good question. I think, and again, I don't want to keep giving the same answers, but when the things, of course, we've been at NRF for 3 days, the same topics come up, right? And everybody looks at integrations like a 4-letter bad word.
Okay.
They shouldn't be. You know
Yeah,
that, right? They
yeah.
shouldn't be. If you have two modern
Nope.
pieces of architecture that are built for the intended purpose,
Right.
that integration should not be a bad word.
Right.
Anytime you hear that, you think of a statement of work, you think of, oh, how long, how much, right? And I'm not saying there's no work to it, but it should be straightforward.
Agreed.
You should know what you're getting at the end of it.
Yeah.
It should work as designed, right? And so often nowadays, and in some previous experience, you have to shift a little bit as you're moving down the road and what's being delivered or what's coming. I think we're really close to making things easier to try out
Sure.
and pilot and move around.
Earlier, I had a conversation, and one of the guests brought this feedback that in order for you to embrace this integration mentality is to embrace continuous iteration. You're always upgrading and upgrading systematically, right? That you integrate. In order for you to have those integrations seem nice and organic and just grow properly, you need to be on the habit of upgrading your system and always be evolving, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a really interesting avenue of addressing integration problems.
Yeah, and it's really difficult to do that when one side of the equation fully owns the integration.
Yeah.
You can't do that continuous, and it's painful.
Yes.
Right, and
Yeah.
you,
I know exactly
you
what
know better than
No,
I do.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And if they change one thing on one side, it should not break everything.
On the
It
other
should
side,
not
yeah.
take everything down, right? And it should be easy to configure those different pieces,
Yeah.
right? And that's where, to your point, you enable them to continue innovating, iterating, upgrading, or doing that. And that's all not, oh, we got to go through the cycle again,
Right.
And have it so it's not a time suck on resources and brain power, right? In IT, brain power is a lot, right? You're worried about stores being up. You're worried
Yep.
about uptime and transaction and terminals down and that. Last thing you need to be worrying about is, oh, how are my integrations doing? Or am I due for one? Or do I need to resolve something in that environment?
That's a very interesting viewpoint. I hadn't thought about that. That part of this project also includes the brain power involved into that, right? You're thinking of this, you're not thinking of something else that might be needed.
When they need to go look for logs and, oh, my password's not
Sure.
working in this terminal, somebody hit it with a bat, or a customer's upset and poured water on it, right? These convenience retail, and that's where my experience is they have to put up with a lot, right? They have
Yeah.
to deal with a lot. It's not just fuel, food, it's customer service, it's keeping the store clean and all these things, right? And they're not calling IT to just badger them, right? They really think they have an issue.
Yeah.
And we have to continuously have empathy for those that are working in the stores
Agreed.
and have them in the frame of mind as our end customer and end user.
Right.
And within that, IT is just trying to help, right?
Yep.
But they're trying to help at different levels and collect logs and send them across and give updates. And it's a lot for those guys.
Agreed. And just in the interest of time, because we could continue going on and on and on, and I think they're turning the lights off.
No, this has been great.
One final question. What is one message that you would like to give to other leaders out there, maybe ready or still on the fence of taking this jump? Like, you know what, I'm ready to start looking what's out there. I want to explore what other solutions there is, but I'm not sure. I don't want to think about all the issues because I know my provider. I don't want to get into the same again. What is one invitation or what one thing you would like them to?
Yeah. Change is scary, right? And and talking about point of sale in general, a lot of operators haven't made a change in a very long time.
Yep.
So like loyalty, right? They may have changed over a 5-year contract. They make a change. They make another change. With point of sale, you've probably been with what you have for a while.
Yeah.
So it is different and scary. And there are solutions out there that are modern and have the right architecture. We're bringing cloud-based solutions and AI-native solutions to convenience and retail, which has been neglected for a long time in some of those innovations. Now, a lot of vendors have newer architecture and doing that, but if you're looking for truly a cloud-based AI native architecture, right? It's here.
Right.
It's here in convenience. It's been in coffee shops and pizza shops and other retail for so long. It's finally made its way to convenience retail. Right. And we ask your vendor, provider, solutioner, show you the AI.
Sure.
Show you it working underneath the hood. It's a great opportunity, and now is the time to really have that discussion and have that conversation.
I love that because that's the only way to be prepared for whatever else is coming. Because something else is coming, like tomorrow, perhaps, I don't know. We're going to revisit this podcast in 6 months and like, man, we didn't know.
Yeah. And the other piece is, if you're simply looking for a provider to make the jump for go live, right?
Sure.
Hey, we need everything we have today.
Yeah.
We need that in our new environment. Then that's completely fine. But if you're looking for the platform of the future,
right,
and you're looking on what you're going to build the next 5-10 years on of the microservices and the different events that you're running through the point of sale, we encourage you to really look for that.
Yeah.
Because getting ready for simply go live and then setting yourself up for the future of retail are two completely different things, we feel.
100% agree. Jason, I want to thank you very much for your time and for being here and having this chat at the end of the
Vicente, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.